Hey, what's up, guys? You got Gypsy back here today with my boy Aki once again for ITL playoffs. Round one, we have Scoot, Zamcro and RecklessBat, aka Nick, facing off in the opposing conference. I recently uploaded the conference playoffs for my conference, but now we are doing Aki's conference, and this is sure to be a fun one. My boy Aki is here with me, as I said.
Yo, what is good, guys? Definitely gonna be a fun match. Scoot and Nick actually have been divisional rivals this season, so they played each other 2 times already. So definitely gonna be some mind games here in the third matchup, and the winner of this game is gonna play me in the conference finals. So that's gonna be hype.
Yeah, definitely. Like both great players, and like you said, both have performed really well this season. Scoot dominating with his Victini Lucario combination. Nick has performed really well with Hooper. I think Hooper was one of the lead kill scorers in the league. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it was number 2 behind Kurum, like with 1 kill or something. I think it got like 7 kills. But,
something
yeah.
ridiculous like that. Yeah. Are you experiencing a bit of lag on the Are you experiencing a bit of lag on the stream?
No, not really. Like they're in team preview now.
Okay. All right. It's just lagging a bit on mine, but that's all good.
You're looking at the teams like Clefable, Hooper, Heatran, Mance, Chelsea and Serena for Nick, and Victini, Manaphy, Zapdos, Nidoqueen, Lucario, and Sneasel for Scoot. What do you think?
I think it's you and I were discussing before the game. I think it's going to be definitely dependent on how these players perform. Like, I think both teams have a fairly solid matchup. Like both the teams that they've brought, but yeah, seeing the sets like come into action is really gonna, I think, determine who gets that like early game momentum. Looking at the lead matchup here, like I could see Scoot leading off with Nidoqueen just to pressure a potential lead Hazard Heatran, or just wanting to get up rocks straight away to pressure that Mence. But Nick may read that and lead off with Hooper, so that could be.
Yeah, like I think Scoot definitely has to value rocks a lot to chip down Hooper, to like pressure Mance and like to identify Clefable, which could also be interesting if it's unaware of Magic Guard. I think rocks could come in quite handy for either of those players, but for Scoot, I think a little bit more, even though like yes, like Nick is facing a bunch of monsters that are weak to rocks. I think Scoot has to value them just not to pressure the Mance, which could be a big threat.
Definitely. And here we see them beginning their fight. This is hype. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, me too. I could see like Heatran versus Nidoqueen here as a lead matchup potentially. Oh, that looks to be Victini, yeah.
Yeah.
Victini for Scoot.
Scoot's favoured the Victini lead. This could be a scarfed variant, just trying to get that that U-turn off versus a potential Hooper lead, trying to counter the Nidoqueen. But this is actually pretty solid for Nick here, because there's not really too much this Victini can do to threaten this Trout unless it's something like HP ground. But
yeah, and then like it's on a balloon, the Heatran, so
oh, it's balloon. I missed that. Well, yeah, this is a really solid turn.
It's definitely getting up Roxy versus Scoot. Like Scoot might not even bring hazard control unless he's default Zapdos, but I don't think he is.
Yeah, he might favour just having rocks up on, like he might be willing to make the hazard exchange just to ensure the Mence is chipped down, put in range of Ice Shard. If it is like a bulky variant or something like that.
Yeah, or like just Yachi. I think Yachi Berry is like outcaught by Bandit Sneasel after rocks anyway.
Yeah, so just wanting to ensure that he can get the kill there in case he is like a DD Yachi very variant.
So Studio Dims outbreaks pops the balloon, which makes sense, so that like Nidoqueen can at least touch the Heatran.
And we're gonna see Manaphy come in, okay.
And yeah, Nick gets up his rocks, which will pressure Victini, Zapdos, and Sneasel a lot this game.
Definitely getting up early rocks is huge. We do have a little bit of an interruption here. I do apologise for that. But we should be back with the game momentarily, and we are back.
Was screen not working for you as well as for me?
It's just sort of like buffering. It's just buffering every now and then, but this is tricky for Nick because he doesn't know the Manaphy set, and you can't really risk staying in on like a lap warp surf or something like that. Do you see
Yeah,
him like staying in here and roaring potentially, or?
I don't think like staying in this is the play ever, because Heatran is still valuable to check Victini and stuff like that. He needs the help on it. He goes into Serena here.
Serena seems like the right play.
So defensive Manaphy here for Scoot with the Toxic.
Okay, so he makes that nice prediction.
Yeah, shifting the momentum quite a bit, like back in his favor, but Serena definitely never getting killed by an unboosted Ice Beam or anything.
Definitely not. This puts Scoot in a situation though where he's sort of forced to switch here. I don't see him staying in unless he's like a Rinder Berry variant. But even so, if this is a Sulfur Selena, it doesn't really fear a Tailglow boosted Ice Beam too much.
Yeah, like I doubt like Nick is gonna go hard for the U-turn here. I think he's probably gonna go for the drop kick just to see what his initial switching is, but he U-turned out. Okay, so I made the wrong read there. But Scoot stays in, that's interesting. Probably firing off an Ice Beam here.
I think you'd be able to calculate damage and determine what sort of Manaphy set that is. I think that took a didn't take too much, but U-turn still did some nice chip off on the mana. But yeah, with Nick's kind of forced to bring in something like Hooper here. I'd say something to be able to tank an Ice Beam.
Takes the knockoff and knocks off the expert bird. So definitely a bulky, probably non-boosting Manaphy with knockoff and Toxic.
Mm-hmm.
But probably has Scarred and maybe Ice Beam for the Mens, it would make sense.
Yeah, and that's kind of reinforced by the lefties there. I think this is definitely more of a bulky supportive Manaphy.
Yeah.
I mean, knocking off the item there on the Jolteon isn't the worst case scenario, because Thunderbolt's still gonna do a ton to this Manaphy, if not take it out, depending on its investment. But
like this right now gives Little Queen a very free switching, I would say.
Definitely, I could see Nick making a double here if he does really want to capitalize on the likely Nidoqueen switching. He could really just go Hooper here, but
yeah, doubling into Hooper would be a very, very good play.
I really feel like that is his play to make. We'll see if he does choose to go that route.
Like Scoot making the aggressive play early with the knockoff on the Serena, which was kind of surprising, but definitely worked out for him.
Definitely, I guess like he recognized the fact that he needed to preserve the Heatran there, so staying in
but like
option.
When Serena came in, he went for knockoff instead of like switching out. It was kind of surprising.
Oh, sorry, the turn update. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was either a really aggressive read or he just was willing to kind of let his Manaphy potentially take a banded drop kick there, or I don't know, even an Assault Vest variant would have done a shit ton to this Manaphy. So I'm not. Yeah, I guess Scoot just really making the aggressive read there.
Okay, so he switches out, but into Mens. So not into Hooper here, not willing to like go hard into his win command. Scoot staying in again. Wow.
Wow. Interesting plays by Scoot. He doesn't seem to be really caring if his Manaphy gets low, I think.
Yeah, like that was surprising. I feel like Nidoqueen was like 100% his best player, but definitely worked out for him to get the chip off on the Mens, but
absolutely. I feel as though if this Manaphy were to be removed from the game, though, Heatran becomes quite a big threat for Zamcro's team. So yeah, definitely some interesting choices there, but his aggression definitely played off. We see an Ice Beam out here as the Archie-Berry pops.
Toxic Mens, which is interesting, so maybe a more bulkier set with the Intimidate here.
We don't see a freeze, which is really nice to see. We don't want to see any more of those in the ITL this season.
Let's hope you don't get hit by any more freezes in the upcoming game.
Yeah, you and me both, dude. You and me both. Had enough of those. So, this is interesting. Do do you think we'll see a roost here by the Ments if this is like a bulkier variant? This could potentially 1v1 this mana with a roost, considering he'll be losing his quad weakness. But Ice Beam will still be doing a decent chunk.
Yeah, like it really depends, I think, on like, how much Nick is gonna value his Ments. If he just like wants to store out the mana, he can potentially roost stall it, but it might still come in handy with the Intimidate on Victini in the late game, or on Lucario, or even on Sneasel, like just as a sack. I don't think like he has to risk the 1v1 matchup here.
Yeah, definitely. I think having that Intimidate late game, as you mentioned, versus Lucario, which looks to be quite a big threat to Nick's team, could be really important. We could see another switch out, potentially even to Heatran, trying to get the pivot on the Ice Beam and then switch back into Serena. But just just whittling down Manaphy with poison, but that might be not what Nick decides to do. As he does switch out here, he is going to go into training. Yep, Heatran. That's not too bad. That's not too bad for Nick, because obviously his balloon being popped. That's
now he has to like pivot back into Jolteon or something, or even into Hooper. But like the momentum right now definitely is in Scoot's turn. Like he doesn't want to switch around too much with the rocks up. So like I see why he's staying in all the time with Manaphy, but like, definitely making some aggressive plays. But as of right now, they're working out then. So
absolutely, this Manaphy's really like caused some disruption on Nick's team. We see the trans air balloon's been popped. Mence is weakened severely, certainly in range of anything from Weavile. And Serena is toxic, so if that's a bulky variant of Serena, it's going to be really quite difficult for Nick to effectively wall stuff like the Manaphy. But
yeah, unless it's like a cleric Clefable in the back, then the toxic would definitely be quite annoying to deal with for Nick in the long run, because like Serena definitely checks quite a bunch of Mountain Scoot teams, and with Queenly Majesty basically prevents Lucario from going too wild on his team.
Absolutely, that's just a really clutch ability to have in this matchup, because as we were saying earlier, Lucario is looking like a massive threat to Nick's team here. Especially with Mence being weakened at this point, looking to be in range of a extreme speed if Scoot can't get an SD up.
Yeah, so it goes back into Serena here. Let's see what Scoot does. Goes for the Ice Beam, predicting that. Wow, like another very aggressive play from Scoot, and that's definitely not AV Serena.
That takes a lot from Ice Beam. This is definitely Scoot showing how aggressive he's willing to play. Like you said, he's been playing quite defensively this season, but he's not afraid to mix it up here in the playoffs, where it really does matter. And I feel like Nick really has to just pull the trigger here and start attacking, force this Manaphy out, start forcing some rocks pressure on Scoot's side, because this Manaphy is just causing too many problems for his team.
Well, now he switches out, so let's see what he goes into. That looks like Zapdos. And it's Pressure Zapdos, so it could potentially be Defog. But Nick making the nice play and go for the U-turn again, that's huge for him. That like gives him all the momentum back.
That's enormous. He gets the momentum right back in his favor, and having rocks up now, that Manaphy is going to come in severely weakened. Mid to late games, that's definitely something to take into consideration. We've seen it's a defensive set, so not too big of a threat to Nick's team, especially with stuff like Hooper in the back.
Yeah, I wonder what Nick's initial switch into the Zapdos is here. Could go Hooper, but that could be kind of risky considering Zapdos could carry the U-turn.
Yeah, I feel like I think I watched them play earlier this season, and I do believe Zam did catch his Hooper with the U-turn Zapdos, so I don't think he's going to be sort of too happy to just go right into Hooper without scouting if it's a faster Zapdos yet. But he may have forgotten that match. He may have forgotten that Zapdos gets U-turn. We'll see. But I feel like Clefable might be the play here. Either Clefable or something like
maybe
Something
Jolteon makes sense.
something like Jolteon could make sense here. Yeah, just firing off a T-Bolt. Of course, if he is a faster Zapdos, he could just get the U-turn off into Nidoqueen, which would be really bad for Nick. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he plays this.
And that would like be really bad if if Nick decides to double into Hooper or anything on the scare out basically. But he goes into Heatran
Exactly.
here, so
No, Heatran's a fun play there. That's especially
yeah.
we can see the max HP there, so it's more than likely a very bulky Heatran.
And can just like hit the Zapdos here with the Lava Plume and then go for rocks again if it's a defog variant. And potentially win the one matchup. Yeah, that goes for the U-turn here, so.
This is interesting. We could see Manaphy come back in here just to soak up a Lava Plume and potentially scare out this Heatran, but it's going to be quite low after taking a Lava Plume, considering it's going to be taking all the rocks and the poison damage. I think that U-turn played by Nick really put the momentum back in his court. If he stayed in there with Serena there and gone for Trop Kick, he would have lost far more momentum than he could afford. But we see him miss a Magma Storm, and that is really unfortunate because this Manaphy would have been really low after taking on that residual chip.
Yeah, like even though Magma Storm wouldn't have done like much, the Toxic, the Stealth Rock, and the Magma Storm damage, like residual damage, that would have put him at like 40%, I would say, maybe 45.
Definitely.
Basically puts him in range for any attack, like even an uninvested drop kick from Rick.
To be honest, he could have just stayed in and Magma Stormed again, or just clicked Earth Power. After that initial damage, I think Manaphy would have gone down to the combination of the following turn's residual damage, but that's Mons. Unfortunately, that's what happens when you run inaccurate moves. They're going to miss when you need them to hit, so
yeah.
Definitely not what we want to see. Don't want to see a repeat of our previous playoffs game. That was definitely some unfortunate misses from Blue Victini, so hopefully that's the last of it.
Yeah, I don't think that Magma Storm miss matters too much, even though like obviously the chip damage on Manaphy would have been nice, but it wasn't like a game-changing miss in the sense that like it put Nick in a terrible position or anything. So.
No, they're hard to compare to the misses in Blue Victini's game, where they were definitely crucial in the outcome of it. But
he missed another one.
That's really unfortunate. We see Tran does actually outspeed the Manaphy, which is interesting. That's
yeah, I reckon it would be like a max HP, max speed defense to like always outspeed the what's called the Nidoqueen. Because Scoot has shown the tendency to run a very speedy Nidoqueen all season.
That could make a lot of sense. Yeah, just firing off an Earth Power and Magma Storm on a weakened Nidoqueen could really come in clutch, because Nidoqueen looks like a pretty massive threat to Nick's team.
And now Nick finally goes into Clefable here. Oh, and Scoot switches out as well, going to Nidoqueen. That was a nice switch by Scoot there.
Definitely, nice play for sure. Expecting, I mean, even if he had stayed in and Magma Stormed, if this is a defensive Nidoqueen, it probably wouldn't have taken all that much. But yeah, Nick wasn't staying in there and risking his Heatran going down after missing 2 Magma Storms there. So
he's probably done with this match today. I don't think he's gonna click it again unless he has to. Yeah, but that's gonna be a nice chance for Scoot to get up to the rocks here.
Definitely, we could see definitely rocks going up here, potentially T-spikes, but rocks definitely look to really start pressuring Nick's team down with all the switches he's making. I don't think he can really afford not to go for rocks here. Clef can't really touch Nidoqueen without having Carmine's up, and we do see the Mets come in here.
Yeah, Nick is kind of reluctant to bring in his Hooper, which I thought would have been a very solid switch into the Nidoqueen here. But like, Mans also makes sense, I guess, because it can threaten the Nidoqueen with the Earthquake or the Draco Meteor or something. And he drops a Draco on him, so Let's see how much that does.
That clean animation. This is going to, yeah, do over half. That did a solid chunk to Nidoqueen. If he can weaken this Nidoqueen, then his Jolteon is looking pretty threatening to Scoot's team.
It's true. Like, yeah, if he gets rid of the Nidoqueen, Jolteon, like, does quite a ton to every other member of his team. So it's kind of smart exchanging the Manaphy, not the Manaphy, Salamence for some nice chip on the Nidoqueen. And now he gets a free switch to Hoopa if he wants to go that route.
Definitely looking at the kind of remaining ones on Scoot's team. Mence, after taking rocks, wasn't taking a hit from much. You know, it was outspeeding Manaphy, yes, but it was going to be OHKO'd by Victini, Sneasel, and Lucario. So yeah, I can definitely get behind this sack there, just exchanging for that clean damage.
Yeah, let's see what Nick decides to go into. I think Hoopa is the best plan, just by a knockoff or Hyperspace Fury here. It's like very safe play on Nick's part.
Yeah, knocking off potential incoming Sneasel's Life Orb could be really clutch, allowing him to live a hit after rocks the following turn.
Sneasel would take a fuck ton from a knockoff anyway. So it goes Hoopa.
We do see it come out.
It's so huge on the Wi-Fi screen, that's crazy.
It's enormous. That's that HP reveals no investment, so that's more than likely an all-out attacking Hoopa.
Yeah. Could be a substitute variant potentially, but I reckon it needs like at least dual step plus fighting coverage for Scoot's team, so might not have the room for potential substitute or setup move or anything.
Yeah, do you see a potential Sucker Punch being fired off from the Nidoqueen here, just to put it in the range of Sneasel?
Oh, it's definitely an option, but I think Scoot has to run like dual step and Ice Beam potentially for a Mance that gets out of hand. I don't think like he has the Sucker Punch just to get some shit on the Hoopa. I don't think it makes too much sense. And I think he will preserve his Nidoqueen here just to like make sure he doesn't lose to Jolteon. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's needed. Definitely, like he may be able to still take like an HP Ice depending on his spread after rocks. So we do see the Hoopa fire off more than likely a knockoff here. Yes, as Manaphy is probably going to go down to the combination of knockoff plus poison. Looks to be just outside.
Yeah, but Hoopa definitely gonna outspeed if it's a speedy variant because we've seen Heatran outspeed the Manaphy, so too big of a deal here. Yeah, just get rid of the Manaphy with the knockoff. But then Manaphy did quite some work, like getting the Toxic off on the Serena, getting Heatran low, putting Mance in range.
Oh, absolutely. I think Manaphy was one of the MVPs of Scoot's team so far. That thing just caused so much trouble. But you know, let's not forget it was Scoot's offensive playing that really allowed him to be so effective with that Manaphy. I think he made a lot of you know, maybe questionable but effective, aggressive plays.
Yeah, definitely went for some hard reads there, but they all worked out for him. So
absolutely. So we see double knockoff there. This could potentially be like a Scarf Tuber.
Yeah, it could be, or just doesn't want to like reveal too much coverage or anything. Because like knock is always the safest play, even if Scoot wants to save his Manaphy for whatever reason.
We see Victini come in here, so that could more than likely mean that Scoot is fearing the potential Scarf Tuber. You know, not wanting to bring in something like you know, the Zapdos there, but
yeah, that like kinda screams that it's Scarf Victini, I guess. Just goes for the Jutsu here, which makes sense. Like getting the momentum back and scaring the Hoopa out, kind of crucial. But he takes all his shit with his Stealth Rocks here, so
yeah, that's
kind of rough.
Definitely big. And we've seen the Klep, so you know there may be some wish support, some potential healing wish support in the back. He has decided to preserve Heatran. We saw that earlier versus the Manaphy, so we could see this Heatran being restored late game to potentially handle a Scarfed Victini, but in comes Scoot's MVP, the Lucario, and this is definitely a tricky spot for Nick.
He decides to stay in and sack his Heatran here, which I think is the right play. because like you don't want to get let Lucario get up with, and a sword stance for nothing. So I guess that makes sense. Like Heatran was kind of low. The chance of wishing it back up or healing wishing it back up were kind of slim. So I see where Nick's coming from here.
What I really see now though is a real weakness to Scarf Victini on Nick's side. Apart from the Clefable, I don't think anything is really going to take a hit from the V-Create. You know, he may have to rely on speed drops from V-Create plus Rock's Chip, allowing Hooper to revenge it, but...
Yeah, it's true. Like, we don't know if it's a special or physical variant. It hasn't shown anything else but U-turn up to this point, so...
Feels though we could see something like Clef or Serena come in here, but of course Clef is threatened by the potential steal move from this Lucario. What do you see him going into here, if you were Nick?
Yeah, like Clef is like if it's unaware it makes sense, and like but he doesn't know if like Lucario packs the Iron Tail for that, so it would be kind of risky. Like, I think Jolteon makes sense, unless like it gets hit by it gets opened by an E-speed from that range, from the range it was at, sorry. Like, then like get the momentum back, potentially with like a double or an HPI on the middle key with him, but he goes into Serena here, so...
Yeah, nice play by Nick. This could well be scarfed, just the way he's brought it in with Queenly Majesty, protecting him against that nasty priority, so...
Yeah. This is... Like, if he gets him here with a scarf, high jump kick, that would be really, really nice for Nick, but let's see if like Scoot thinks he's bluffing the scarf or if he's gonna preserve his Lucario here. Because like a close combat is definitely taking out Serena from the range with that.
Oh, absolutely. And we've seen how well this we've seen that Scoot more than likely calced the Ice Beam damage on the Serena from the Manaphy, so he's gonna have an idea of his spread, but we do see him make the switch out here to Zapdos, not wanting to risk anything.
Oh wow, Nick makes a great play and goes for the U-turn, that's crazy.
Nick is making these reads, he's really bounced back from that early game.
That was a big U-turn. That was a big play for him.
I feel like he's forced into Jolteon here, unless he wants to go hard into Clef, but you know, that invites back in Nidoqueen. I feel like, well, both options really invite back in Nidoqueen, but firing
I reckon
Power Ice could be...
Yeah, 2 Hidden Power Ice should do the trick versus Nidoqueen. It's a no drawback play basically because it like also kills Zapdos from the range it's at.
Yeah. This is definitely getting intense. This is close on both sides. Depending on sets, I feel like it could go either way at this point.
I think like the rocks are really coming in clutch for Nick right now, especially with the momentum he's gaining with the U-turn on the Serena. So like definitely pressuring Scoot's offensive threats, and from Victini and Zapdos here both are getting quite low because of Star Rock. And it goes into Jolteon. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That Zapdos took a fairly solid chunk from that U-turn from Serena, so like Serena's strong, but Zapdos took a decent chunk, implying it's more than likely an offensive variant.
Yeah, it could also be Scarf Zapdos here. It makes sense. To catch a potential Scarf Looper off guard with a U-turn or something.
Definitely. No, Scarf Zapdos is pretty solid. Also to potentially tie with a Jolly +1 Salamence, so yeah, we could definitely see that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I feel like Nidoqueen is really forced in here. He kind of has the U-turn if he is scarfed, or just go hard out. But we could also see the Victini here on a very bold play, but I don't think that is you know, if he for some reason wanted to preserve Nidoqueen, but I don't feel like
I would probably go into something like Sneasel or Lucario here if I was Scoot. But the Thunderbolt like doesn't really make sense considering Nidoqueen is still around. But he goes for Thunderbolt as Scoot sets up a Tailwind, revealing to be Scarf Zapdos here.
Wow, and Nick makes the very aggressive Thunderbolt play there, not wanting to give, yeah, like you said, Sneasel or Lucario the free switch in. So both players playing very well in this playoffs match.
Yeah, sure, but like Scoot now with the Tailwind on his side, that's kind of scary with Lucario around. I think Nick has to sack him on here. Unless it's really unaware for Fable, in which case he can deal with the Lucario potentially.
We've seen his Life Orb, so if he is unaware Clef, he's going to be taking that Life Orb chip every time he attacks, depending on his coverage.
Yeah, I think it has to have E-Speed, Close Combat, and then like either Iron Tail or Bullet Punch. If it's an SD variant, it could also be like 4 attacks or something, but I see like a setup move working just fine versus like Nick's more bulkier.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like SD is something that Scoot has been, you know, he's fallen in love with this season. He's been running it sort of week after week. I definitely don't see him dropping it for this playoffs match. When we see Jolteon get sacked, fair enough on Nick's part. I don't think he could really afford letting anything else come in and take the hit. And he didn't want to allow him to set up an SD for free, so I can get behind that play.
Yeah, I agree. What does Nick have left? I mean, he has Hooper, Lefable, and Serena, right?
Yes.
Serena is probably... So, I think like if that's Iron Tail Lucario, the game is basically over.
Yeah.
And if he connects, obviously. On the Lefable.
I feel like Clefable is his only play here. He needs to preserve his Serena and his Hooper, definitely. And there's no point sacking off Hooper just to burn another turn of Tailwind. I feel like he needs to go hard into Clef here, otherwise this could be game.
Yeah. I think like, yeah, he goes into Clefable, so...
Yeah, with the minus Spidef drop plus the Life Orb he'll be taking from this hit, we might see this Lucario go down here to the Moonblast.
Not an unaware Spidef, obviously, like... Unaware doesn't...
He has revealed to be unaware, you're right. Yeah, so that's not going to be taken into account.
But like Moonblast will still do quite a chunk, like at least 60% to this Lucario, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. We could definitely see even just like him healing up, moonlighting on the attack, just to waste Tailwind turns and chip.
Yeah, I think that's his best play, to be honest. Like just like going to Moonlight repeatedly. Like if this Lucario has Iron Tail, it's basically GG here.
Yeah.
The Tailwind coming in clutch for Stewart.
Yeah, it was definitely a nice stack on Scarf Zapdos. If anything, just getting that last suicide Tailwind off, allowing Lucario to just plow through Nick's team, but it's definitely not over. I think it really comes down, like you said, to the coverage that Scoots decided to bring. If he does have that Iron Tail, then it's looking pretty bad for Nick, but...
Scoot hates inaccurate move. Like, he has run, like, searing shot over Blue Flare on Special Bikini this season, just so he doesn't miss, that's, like, kind of wild, but...
That's another factor, yeah. He has to hit.
Yeah. Like, he just hates inaccurate moves. I, like, don't really think he has the answer, but Nick doubles out, wow, why?
Wanting to stall out Trick Room turns, I don't. Tailwind turns. So we see Bullet Punch not affected by Queenly Majesty. Interesting play by Nick. He's now determined that...
Now he has to go back into the Fable, right?
Yeah.
And then potentially, like, Healing Wish back up Serena, if that's, like, the tech he has in mind.
I wonder, I'm curious to hear Nick's thought process there, because had this Serena died to an Iron Tail, I guess he'd have to sack off Clefable and then revenge with Hooper, but this Lucario more than likely outsped the Hooper, so... Either way it worked out from there, so can't really question him too much on that, but close combat is going to come off Life Orb Lucario, and it doesn't do too much to Clef at all. Clef just being Clef right there. I could really see a Moonlight up here, to be honest. I don't like. He could go out into Nidoqueen, but I feel like Clef tanks one Sludge Wave from full and can still get the Healing Wish off.
Yeah, it should take at least one. Like, Nidoqueen looks to be like a more bulkier variant. But yeah, I don't know. He definitely should go for the Moonlight here on this turn. Lucario goes for the Bullet Punch. I don't know if that's enough to knock out the Clef. No, it's not. Okay.
And we see the Moonlight up. So this Clefable proving clutch. Clef just being a god like it always is. And I could also see, you know, Nick preserving his Clef, just because it does potentially check Victini. You know, it can stall out its Vicreates, or just get it to the point where its speed is low enough that his Hooper can take it out. But
yeah, but like the Scarf Victini in the back looks pretty threatening now.
yeah, which is why I feel like he needs to preserve this. But
I think Scoot has enough sacks left to make it work. Even with the trade drops, if he plays his cards correctly, obviously. But Victini can only come in once more, or twice more. I don't know. So that's like always something Scoot has to bear in mind. Like if Scoot doubles or switches out here into Nidoqueen, I think Nick's best play is to go hard into Hooper.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Given how aggressive Scoot has been playing, though, we could see a switch. I could definitely see him switching to Sneasel on the likely Hooper switch, but you know, that's a few turns ahead, so we won't get ahead of ourselves. But I feel like yeah, Scoot is definitely in a solid position here. I feel like Nick is a bit on the back foot, but it's definitely not over when there's a Clef.
Yeah, Clef can always win games on its own.
See Nick's time is counting down. He's thinking hard, as we do see Lucario withdraw it, and in comes the Nidoqueen. So this is definitely threatening.
Yeah, so as we said, like the best play right now, I think would be going hard into Hooper here for Nick, but Scoot might read into that and go like Victini or something, which could be a no drawback play.
Because the problem with just allowing Hooper to come in here is that it just does get a kill, which limits the amount of times, like you said, he can pivot around and get Victini in.
Yeah, Scoot definitely has to preserve some sacks here. But like Nick decides to sack this arena, I don't know if that's like the play.
Interesting play there.
Yeah.
He knows Clefable can like wall Lucario, which is ridiculous, but
yeah, but like Scoot won't sack Nidoqueen if it's his only way to beat Clefable in case it's a special Victini that might not be able to beat Clef 1v1.
Exactly.
Like I doubt Scoot is gonna sack Nidoqueen here. Yeah, he's gonna preserve it.
I could see a Drain Punch here as a result of that. He doesn't really have any reason to stay in here, as we do see Sneasel come out. So if he's clicked Drain Punch here, he puts himself in a fantastic position. As we do see Dark Pulse. I don't agree with that play.
Yeah.
And a crit.
Nick doesn't make the necessary aggressive plays in the late game up here.
That was definitely unfortunate for Nick. Had he Drain Punched there, he would have put himself in a fantastic spot, forcing something like Lucario or Victini to come back in, but...
And like Drain Punch from this range, like, would have taken out Victini after Rocks, probably would have taken out Lucario if that wants to come in on Dark Type attack. And like, Nidoqueen can never kill like the Hooper here. I don't think Dark Type was the play. I think you're right with the Drain Punch.
Exactly, and if you let Nick kill Nidoqueen, then Clef just won. So I don't agree with that, but this is an interesting situation. Clef can obviously take on this Sneasel, but that just invites back in Nidoqueen. Although this
And
is,
since it's very,
sorry.
since it could very well like pursuit trap the Hooper here,
Hmm.
if it's a pursuit variant, like a banded pursuit should knock it out, but doesn't seem to be like a pursuit set. So
I feel like Nick was too scared of him preserving Nidoqueen there, but I feel like it was quite clear that this Clef was going to take on his the rest of his team, barring that Nidoqueen, so he really did need to preserve it. But you know, it's always easier to kind of question plays when you're not actually in the heat of the moment playing. So yeah, no hate to Nick at all.
no, obviously not. But like we all make some misplays every now and then,
Hmm.
and like you still could win the game even like with the Nidoqueen still around. I don't think like it's over yet, but definitely looking slim right now.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen that. Well, just knowing Hooper's natural bulk, it can definitely take a sludge away from that Ranger health, considering how fat this Nidoqueen is. But if we see a double here, by Scoot into Victini on the Hooper switch, that could be big trouble for
It would be
Nick.
game over.
Yeah.
But, like I don't think Scoot has to make this play, considering he still has enough sacks left
Mm.
in the form of Lucario, which can always like kill the Hooper in the late game.
Hmm.
But yeah, double like would definitely be the best play in my opinion.
I feel like if Nick does switch here into Hooper and Scoot does stay in, he has to click Drain Punch on the Lucario.
Yeah, for sure.
He has to, otherwise, like he's going to
Then like you
be
can,
in range of another Sludge Wave switching in later on. He needs to get that health back.
yeah, for sure. Could you see this being a Scarf Nidoqueen? We haven't like, I don't know if we have seen like it outspeed anything or anything else outspeed it.
Possibly. I do think that is Scarf Victini, and that was more than likely, well, it's confirmed to be Scarf Zapdos, so
Yeah, it doesn't run 3 Scarf, it doesn't make sense, right? Yeah, so he doubles out, and Scoot doesn't double, so playing it as safely as possible here, not trying to... Let's see if Uber can take this Sludge Wave. Yeah, it can take it. Wow, it takes it easily.
and I do think he this is tough. Like I feel like Nick will Psychic, but I do think he needs the Drain Punch. If he wants to, you know what I mean, like he's more than likely going to sack off the Victini here because, well, it's a tough play. Like he could sack off Victini, but he could just as easily sack off Lucario, knowing that Victini can just come in and click U-turn, which forces in the Clef and brings back in the Nidoqueen, who can then Sludge Wave to kill Hooper on the switch. So I would Drain Punch if I were Nick.
Yeah, I feel like Nick is gonna Drain Punch, considering the Sludge Wave did like 54 damage, I think, and with the Drain Punch he should get back to this amount of health, so that Hooper can live another Sludge Wave even if Nidoqueen doesn't go down.
As we do see Lucario come in, so if he did Drain Punch here, this is going to be...
Don't go to Z move here. I don't think that made any sense.
I don't get that.
Yeah, like Nick missed out on 2 situations where he should have Drain Punched up here.
Yeah. That was
especially after sacking his Serena. I feel like he needed to keep his Super in a nice amount of health.
Definitely, if he got that Drain Punch off there, then I really feel like he could have won this game. It would have forced in the Victini, who would have U-turned on the Hooper. He would have gone it back out into Clef, and then the Nidoqueen would have come in on the U-turn. He would have switched back out to Hooper, knowing he could take a Sludge Wave. Victini would have died to Rocks, and then he could have... Well, eventually he could have Psychicked. I don't know,
Yeah, that's good game here.
Got a bit of lag on the stream, but this Victini's more likely going to click U-turn or...
Yeah.
as we do see the U-turn fire off. So yeah, definitely an interesting game between Nick and Scoot. They definitely, I feel like Scoot definitely had the upper hand this match, just playing so aggressively, but Nick really brought it back in the mid game with those aggressive
Yeah,
U-turns.
I feel like the preserving the Nido Queen and going for the last ditch effort tailwind with the Zapdos really helped Scoot winning this match here.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lucario put in quite some pressure, did get like 2 kills or something,
Mm-hmm.
and like Nido Queen always being healthy guarantees him to beat the Clefable 100% of the time. So very smart preserving it.
Definitely. No, he definitely preserved the right mons to ensure himself this game here. Had Nick played a little bit more aggressively with Hooper, I feel as though he had a fantastic shot to win this, but
yeah, I feel like he missed out on 2 really big chances there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's game.
That's game though.
So I gotta face Scoot and his Victini in the conference finals. That's gonna be hype.
That's definitely going to be a hype one. How are you feeling about his matchup versus you?
I don't think that I have a bet in the matchup necessarily, but Manatee definitely is a threat to my team. Like at +3, I don't really have a switcher besides like some stupid AV Snorlax, which I don't like to run.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I can definitely out-prep him. We know each other fairly well. Like we played a bunch of times in this league. He's been in the league for like 4 seasons now, so we definitely know each other fairly well. So it's gonna be a fun one, but I feel like my matchup isn't too bad. Like Kieran puts in quite some work with him, so not too afraid.
Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely going to be some mind games. It's always like that when you play a mate, like a close friend who knows you pretty well. It's going to be, definitely some mind games there, but that's going to be definitely a hype match. So it's going to be you versus Scoot in the semis, and me versus Sheer Force Trevor. So
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be some fun 2 games. Like Scoot versus me is definitely gonna come down to the wire. I don't know about you versus Trevor. I think you definitely.
Well,
you definitely are the favorite there, but
Trevor's a young god, so you never know. But yeah, that's definitely gonna be a hype match. Yeah, that was definitely enjoyable to watch. Hope you guys enjoyed. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, Aki? I feel like we went into some nice analysis there late game, but is there anything else you want to touch on upon that match?
I don't think so, no. But like, I feel like it was a very fun game, very well played on both sides. Like, especially in the early game, I think like Nick, like as we said, like he had a very nice chance to win the game, but like couldn't quite capitalize on Scoot switches with the Hooper. And, like, yeah, so Scoot was able to get a nice 1-0 win here, very close one. So definitely worked out for him.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. I think they both played well, but yeah, unfortunately Nick just wasn't able to capitalize on the Hooper switches, and Zam punished him for it. So that was definitely a solid game by both players. But hope you guys enjoyed. I know we had fun recording this one. There was definitely a hype match, a lot of hype surrounding that one. But if you guys did drop a like, and again, go check out my boy Aki. Go check out Nick and Zamcro as well. Definitely both cool guys. Go and check out their sides. I know Zamcro uploads his matches, so just go and check out his channel for that. And I'll catch you guys next time.